speaking of things that are also problematic, Jerry Stackhouse went off on his team. Coach K went off on a student reporter. And honestly, the Coach K one, I'm a little bit surprised that there's been as much of a negative backlash as there has been, because I thought that the question was fine. And his response was like, it was a little condescending, but it very much felt like a grandfatherly thing where you kind of like say something to your grandfather and your grandfather's like, well, that's not how you're supposed to do it. And it's like, okay, it wasn't that bad, but it's also, Coach K, you don't have to, not everybody is coming to you for advice on everything. Right. You don't have to dispense your wisdom at everybody that comes across your path. And that's kind of what I think the big thing was. It sounded very condescending the way that he said it. I had a much and it was completely unnecessary too. It wasn't like a bad question. All you have to do.
Here's what people need to know. Here's what people needed to know. And for that student reporter. So it was a student reporter who basically asked the question. His name was Jake Piazza. His first post-game question to Coach K. And he basically asked him, hey, Coach, after that loss, what do you have to do next? That was basically his question in a nutshell. What do you have to do next to get better, to improve? Now, what people have to realize is a lot of times you're getting one shot with Coach K all week. You're not getting another availability before their next game. So you have to spin it forward. And it wasn't an out-of-line question.
No, it's the most basic, simple question that any reporter asks in that situation. That's right. He said, okay, Duke lost. His story is going to be, okay, how do they get better? So you ask Coach K, how do you get better? You know what Coach K needs to say? Well, we're going to watch the film on the flight home. And when we get back, we're going to get into practice. Yep. We got Georgia Tech on Tuesday.
We battled. But you know what? Ultimately, we didn't come up with a win. But I need to watch the tape to really be able to break it down.
Yeah, and we're going to get in practice and we're going to improve. And I loved our intensity. And as long as we compete the way that we competed today, I think that we're going to be fine. I think we'll have a good chance to win against Georgia Tech on Tuesday. That's all you have to say. It's so simple. We just went on for a minute right there, and we didn't say a damn thing. But it's a quote that the person can put in the paper, and that's all you really need. That's all he wanted.
It was very disappointing. Very, very disappointing that he would do that to a kid. And that's my thing. You want to go after me or you if we ask that question? Come on, man. Come on.
But, okay, so that's the one thing.
Don't do that to a kid.
The one thing that I will push back on is going after him. I don't think that he was going after him. I think that he was it was the same thing as the Dylan Brooks thing where he was I think that his reaction was, okay, let me teach this young man the ways of the world and how to do this the right way. And you don't need to do you don't have to do that. You're Coach K. When it comes to coaching your basketball players up, yes, I'm sure that everything that you say is going to help Matthew Hurt and Jalen Johnson and Wendell Moore and all of these guys. But you don't need to correct a student report. He just wants a quote for a story. That's all he needs. Right. But do you want me to galaxy brain this? You want my conspiracy theory on this?
Go ahead. What do you got?
What are we talking about right now? We're talking about
not them losing and being 5-5.
They're 5-5. They don't have a top 100 win in the net. They're ranked 90th in the net. They're probably not making the NCAA tournament. And what are we talking about?
We can't say that yet. We can't say that yet.
But what are we talking about? What are we talking about right now?
No, I tweeted. You're right. It takes the attention away from how shitty their team has been this year. And again, I'm not going to make too many excuses for Coach K on this one. I'm not, because that's not me. But what I will say in his defense is Coach K and Duke brought back his kids later than almost every high major program in America this year. I think it was August 4th. And even when he brought him back, Coach K did not work out with these guys right away. He's over 70. They told him, stay away. We don't want you putting yourself at risk. So they were further behind than most. That's the only thing I'll say to Coach K. And they're giving a little bit of the benefit of their doubt why their freshmen have taken longer to come around. That's all.
Yeah. And I will also say this for people that would think that we're Duke haters or Coach K haters or have an anti-Duke bias or whatever. We defended him for things that he said about the insurrection at the Capitol after that happened. Like we praised him for it, we commended him for it. We defended him when he decided he wanted to opt out of non-conference play, and we defended him there when everybody else was making jokes and ripping on him. Well, we also made some Coach K jokes, but for the most part, we defended him. You got to get your Coach K jokes in. But this is just it's just so unnecessary, and it takes all the attention away from
him. And he usually, Rob, the one thing I'll say for those who say well, he's being a poor sport, a bad loser. The first thing K always does after he loses, every single time, and I've been in all these press conferences, first thing he does is give the other team credit. Whether he means it or not, I don't care. He does it the right way generally. And my guess is yesterday, at the beginning of that press conference, I didn't see it, he probably gave Chris Mack in Louisville and Carlik Jones credit.
Yeah, he does that thing where he looks up at the ceiling and he's like, well, that's a good team over there. That's a good team that we played. Yes. That's like. I can't tell you how many times I've heard Coach K say that's a good team that we played.